Sup yo, Vampiro here. Welcome to the BMF Wrestling Show. Byron couldn't be here as you can see, but I'm going to still try and give you guys a little bit of a Raw review from this week and last week. Sort of a bit of a mash up here. A few thoughts on some key things that happened last week and this week. And I'll try to leave out all the rubbish if that's at all possible. So, what are you doing here? Dude, seriously, go. You're not wanted, alright? Get out of here, right now. Look, seriously, get out. We've had enough of you. Go. Just want to go home. God, it's so frustrating. Anyway, on with the show. First off, I'd like to apologize for Violent not being here. Hopefully he'll be here next week, so stay tuned to that. Let's get on with the show. Raw kickstarted with Stephanie McMahon Helmsley coming down to the ring and announcing to everyone that Triple H will not be able to perform that night due to the effects of the concussion that he suffered at Extreme Rules by the hands of Brock Lesnar. He was due to wrestle Curtis Axel that night. Unfortunately, he just could not do it because Stephanie McMahon Helmsley decided to go against that, as well as Vince McMahon. So in the end, Triple H had to take the night off. But personally, I think that it turned out for the better, to be honest with you. Actually, one thing I wanted to point out was something that happened last week. A really cool thing that happened. I mein, most of the episode of Raw last week wasn't really worth mentioning. It was just a pretty average stuff. The way things have been going with the bookings lately, especially with Team Hell No and the Shield always having a match each and every single week, it's getting a bit old and stale, although it is helping to develop a bit of a story between Kane and Daniel Bryan that might eventually lead to some sort of rivalry, who knows. But at the same time, it just feels like we're watching the same episode of Raw each and every single week, which is getting a little bit old and stale. Another thing that happened of interest was, once again, Team Hell No went up against the Shield again, and of course, we ended up with the same turnaround. I mean, this time around, they were teaming up with Randy Orton, which I thought was a pretty decent match. It wasn't like a bad match at all. And obviously the same turnaround, Daniel Bryan getting pinned and that. So anyway, Daniel Bryan decides to have another match. This is after he had a bit of an argument with Kane. Kane basically walks out. And hopefully this might actually mean that Kane will eventually have a bit of a rivalry with Daniel Bryan. I mean, I really do think that this is going to start turning to being the end of Team Hell No. And if that's the case, great. To be honest with you, that's something we've been hoping for some time. Kane needs to become that monster, the big red machine that he has always been in the past, and now he's just being reduced to hugging, and I'm surprised they haven't kissed yet, to be honest with you. I mean, this is just a different side of Kane, and for even Jerry Lawler to actually say that Kane being the voice of reason, I think it was Jerry Lawler or Michael Cole, but somebody actually said it was really strange to see that Kane actually being the voice of reason here, which is, I totally agree. Kane being the voice of reason is almost as bad as seeing the Big Show wearing a sumo outfit. Do you remember that? We all hope to forget that one day. To make mention of one really cool thing that happened last week, in my opinion, at least my favorite part of the whole thing was, believe it or not, the highlight reel with Chris Jericho and his special guest, Paul Heyman. And one of the key things that Chris Jericho wanted to talk to Paul Heyman about was CM Punk. I really thought that this was a good touch, seeing as how nothing's been mentioned recently since CM Punk walked out on Paul Heyman about a month or so ago. And it was really good to actually finally see them try to cover something. I know, we all know that CM Punk's out because due to injuries. He's trying to heal up a bit and wants to be 100% when he comes back. But at the same time, it's a really good story that they're working on, saying how CM Punk is mentally not ready to return. He's just really cut about losing at WrestleMania, and he's really cut about losing before that, and it's just been a really good thing that they're doing with this storyline, and I hope to see it develop even further. Thankfully, we actually got to see that this week when we had the official signing for the match at Payback between Chris Jericho and CM Punk for the title of calling yourself the best in the world. That's pretty much it for now. Not a lot happened this week aside from the official signing of the match between CM Punk and Chris Jericho, and obviously the fallout, I guess you might call that, of Team Hell No. Hopefully we get to see how that progresses even further over time. We don't know what's going to happen. Non-WWE, this could take a while, to be honest with you. So yeah. One other thing I'd like to mention, Violet and I are actually working on a new web series that we haven't actually named just yet. We've got a bit of a plot going on, and I know we mentioned this before, but we're mentioning it again. Stay tuned to it. We'll keep you updated on what's going on. We're going to try and film it as much as possible in one go, and we'll try and do some editing, so we might not get a lot of time to actually do the Raw review as often, but at the same time we might even be able to continue it on a weekly basis. We're not going to be sure what's going to happen with that, so hopefully we'll be able to keep you guys updated. Stay tuned, because it is going to be a really cool show, and we'll see you guys next time. By the way, if you like what you're listening to, visit Adam Massacre's page. It's right here. Right there. Okay? And yes, like us, subscribe to us, do all that stuff, and check out all our other videos too, because, you know, some of them are pretty cool. And I'll see you guys next time.